Hello, I'm Lara Kılıçarslan and this is Newsfeed, your dose of what people are talking about online. Sudan's civil war is gaining prominence on social media as the army announces it has withdrawn from Fasher to spare civilians' lives. This comes as rapid support forces have seized control of the city, leaving hundreds of thousands trapped. As the United Nations calls for their safe passage, there are reports of ethnically motivated mass killings against non-Arabs. Yale's Humanitarian Research Lab has even shown satellite images supporting these assertions. Now in its third year, the war between the RSF and Sudan's military has left at least 150,000 people dead. In addition, over 13 million have been displaced and nearly 25 million are facing severe hunger. Both sides are accused of war crimes and targeting civilians.
What we hoped would never happen has come to pass. Fasher, under over 550 days of siege, has fallen. For those who haven't been following this story, Fasher is a city in Darfur in West Sudan that has been holding out against the RSF, the rebranded Janjaweed who were responsible for a genocide over 20 years ago now. Fasher was the last place that was holding out. It had over 1 million people, many hundreds of thousands had left, but over 250,000 remained under siege, experiencing famine.
And the RSF's campaign of violence continues to this very moment, and not just in Fasher, but in towns across North Kordofan. This is Elgoni Dagalu. He is the brother of RSF Commander-in-Chief Hemeti. He is also deeply implicated in the violence the RSF forces have unleashed on Sudan. He is also sanctioned by the US Treasury, and yet here he is, walking around Washington, D.C., taking in the sights, staying at the luxurious Waldorf Astoria Hotel. Yesterday, the U.S. administration released a statement calling on RSF forces to protect civilians. They released their statements on X, while the actual leaders are with them in the same city. And of course, as always, their tweets meant nothing and stopped nothing. The UN has also called on the RSF to allow safe passage to civilians. But over 2.5 years of war, the RSF has never provided safe passage to civilians.
How did the conflict, which resulted in millions of refugees, actually begin?
It started in 2019 when the people of Sudan were in the middle of the biggest pro-democracy protests in their country's history, which succeeded in toppling their former dictator, Omar al-Bashir. But as the pro-democracy protests continued, this man surrounded the protesters with his faction of the army called the Rapid Support Forces. Then he ordered his soldiers to massacre the innocent civilians, dump their bodies into the river, and use mass rape to punish the survivors for daring to stand up for their rights. For the last several years, the RSF and the Sudanese government have been at war. During this conflict, over 150,000 people have been killed, the country has been plunged into famine, and over 500,000 children are believed to have died due to malnutrition, meaning the death toll from this crisis is way higher than even Gaza.
Sudan is rich in resources, but it's repeatedly torn apart by violence, much of it driven by outside interests. A US court recently found French bank BNP Paribas complicit in helping the former Sudanese government evade sanctions while committing atrocities between 2004 and 2008. The bank argues that sanctions busting didn't cause the suffering.
Europe's second biggest bank, BNP Paribas, was found liable for enabling genocide in Sudan from 2002 to 2008. So the case was about whether the bank gave Sudanese authorities access to international money markets to fund the genocide. In this case, 3 Sudanese survivors sued the bank in the US, potentially allowing 20,000 Sudanese refugees to seek billions in damages.
So what the bank did was it enabled Omar al-Bashir to sell oil on the international market, to use the billions of dollars it made from this oil to buy weapons. So it knowingly supplied Omar al-Bashir, the dictator of Sudan, with billions of dollars, which it used to buy weapons to carry out its genocide. What defense could the bank have against all of this? Well, it said what it was doing at the time was legal, and that it did not know about the human rights violations happening in Sudan.
As Gazans rebuild after 2 years of brutal war, renewed Israeli attacks have violated the fragile ceasefire. Israel struck several sites in Gaza on Tuesday night, including schools and residential areas. By Wednesday, the death toll had surpassed 60. Tel Aviv has accused Hamas of attacking its troops. The US administration has played down the strikes, with Trump saying that nothing would jeopardize the truce. But tensions have been high as the search for the bodies of Israeli hostages trapped under the rubble continues.
this is not a ceasefire. This is a rebranding of the genocide, because they were like, the G word is increasing everywhere and it causes us headache, you know? Why not we call it a ceasefire? But Israel still has the right to occupy the Palestinian lands, taking more than 58% of the Gazan land, besieging Gaza and preventing anything from entering, even the medicines, literally, and bombing whenever they want. Because why not? Look, we as human beings are not able to deal with a single problem that has been our nightmare for 2 years.
While the world is facing a growing trend of youth-led protests calling for change in their respective nations, one man seems completely unmoved by it all. Cameroon's Paul Biya, the world's oldest serving president, is beginning his 8th term at the age of 92. Though he's not the only old-timer in the region. Togo's and Côte d'Ivoire's leaders are 86 and 83 respectively. Biya's re-election has baffled young people hungry for fresh talent.
The average age in Cameroon is 19, right? This raises a critical question. How can a population predominantly made up of young people continue to vote for a 90-year-old president who's been in power for longer than most of them have been alive? Is it a matter of genuine support, or are there underlying influences compelling Cameroonians to stick to what's familiar despite a lifetime of unmet needs?
We have to speak up. United Nations, African Union, and every world leader that believes in democracy, please do not ignore Cameroon. Cameroon needs you now. We are angry, we are tired, we are desperate for change.
Maybe it's the same determination that's resulted in young Moroccans refusing to back down on their calls for change. Under the banner Gen Z 212, they're demanding better healthcare and education, an end to corruption, and a change in government. They're also calling for the release of protesters who were arrested in previous rallies.
Whether this movement will bear its fruits, I think it's very soon to come. There will still be, political changes that will come in the upcoming days, and up until then we cannot really predict what's going to happen. In politics, there are a lot of variables that enter in the equation, and a lot of things can change. So I think that it's too soon to tell. Obviously, the youth are hopeful.
Corruption and growing insecurity have also driven young people in Peru to the streets. Using social media, they have been organizing protesters, demanding that interim president Jose Jerry step down. He is hit back, imposing a 30-day state of emergency in the capital Lima. The death of a young rapper heightened tensions after he was shot dead by police. The youth are now calling for justice.
Mr. Jerry represents the Congress. We feel governed by the Congress, by a pseudo-president who has supported these pro-crime laws and has been unclear in his actions, acting out of convenience. He's from Somos, Peru, and his leadership is highly questionable.
Elon Musk has finally launched his answer to Wikipedia, and of course, it has a very Musk name, Grokipedia. The billionaire calls it a massive improvement over Wikipedia and a necessary step toward understanding the universe. The site has a clean, search-first design and already hosts hundreds of thousands of entries. Its pages look a lot like Wikipedia's, but with fewer citations and no open editing, for now. Musk says it's designed to purge propaganda, but users aren't so sure. Some early entries have already drawn criticism for bias, raising questions about whether Grokipedia can really be the neutral, trusted source Musk has promised.
Wikipedia has been the internet's source of truth for over 20 years, but it's run by human editors that can be biased, slow, or just plain wrong. Grokipedia uses AI to generate knowledge in real time. No waiting for editors to approve changes or potential biases from moderators. Just instant AI-powered answers to any question. But here's the problem. Who controls the AI that controls the information? With Wikipedia, at least you can see edit history and sources. With AI-generated content, you're trusting the algorithm. This isn't just about better search results. This is about who gets to decide what's true. And that power is about to shift dramatically.
Yet another app he's reinventing to push his version of the truth. Like, when was the last time he had an original idea? He bought into Tesla, he bought Twitter, look at how that turned out, and even Grokipedia started as a random idea during a talk with David Sachs.
So if you do fix, for example, Wikipedia as a source of truth.
All right, I'll talk to the team about that, like Grokipedia or whatever.
And guess what? Wikipedia co-founder Jimmy Wales fired back, saying that
we'll be here in 100 years and he won't.
We know that Elon is right-leaning, but saying that Wikipedia is biased doesn't make him objective. Sure, Wikipedia is flawed, but I'll take crowdsourced over corporate AI any day. I mean, that's why Reddit works.
And while Elon Musk is hiring staff to build his version of the internet, another tech giant is cutting jobs. Amazon has confirmed plans to lay off 14,000 of corporate workers. That's after reports the tech giant was preparing to slash up to 30,000 jobs in what's being called one of the biggest white-collar cuts in its history.
The report said the company's making the cuts, which would start on Tuesday, to lower expenses and compensate for overhiring during the peak demand of the pandemic. Now, a variety of divisions within Amazon, including human resources, devices and services, and operations, among others, would be affected. Now, an earlier report from Fortune said the internal HR division, people experience and technology, is expected to be significantly affected due to the cuts as well. Mass layoff. Now, the move would represent the largest workforce reduction at the company since around 27,000 jobs were eliminated starting in late 2022. Remember, Amazon currently has a workforce of like 1.15 million workers, including 350,000 corporate employees. Earlier this year, the CEO warned that automation and AI are likely to shrink some white-collar roles down the line and called on employees to adapt to the evolving landscape. A recent report by the New York Times said Amazon's robotics team is working towards automating 75% of the company's entire operations and expects to remove 160,000 US roles. They'll just replace you. This is a big layoff. And during a shutdown, wow.
Amazon is not alone. Microsoft, Meta, and Google's parent Alphabet have all rolled back on their pandemic-era hiring binges by cutting tens of thousands of jobs in the past 3 years. If you're one of those affected, or you just want to prepare in case your company decides something similar, here's what you can do.
1. Get into the systems now and make sure you save anything that you might need in the future. Go through your systems, record the names of stakeholders you've worked with, make sure you have their contact information, screenshot shout-outs, screenshot praise that you've gotten, things that will help you when you're trying to put together your resume. Record metrics and results, things that you can add to your resume or talk about in interviews. Make copies of your writing, of project plans you've worked on, things that you can use if you were asked to submit like work products for job applications. Even if you're not laid off tomorrow, you're going to be glad you have these things because at some point you are going to need them for your next job search. The last thing I will say is, like, you don't owe anyone anything. You don't have to put on a happy face. You don't have to make some post on LinkedIn about how grateful you are for the time that you had. Layoffs are trauma. Like, it is a form of trauma. This is a significant part of your life that is suddenly ripped away from you through no fault of your own. That is a traumatic experience, and it is very normal for people to have a hard time getting through that. So, like, just know that it's normal for you to go through all sorts of different stages of grief, anger. You might feel happy at some points. Like, you'll feel all sorts of things because that's usually how people respond to traumatic experiences.
You know how holiday displays can start to look a little predictable? Well, not at Annabelle. The iconic Mayfair Club in London is known for going all in when it comes to holiday decorations. They have just unveiled this year's Halloween facade, and it's giving major Viking vibes. And that's our show. Find our latest stuff on YouTube and do subscribe to our channel. See you soon.